Welcome to Copilot Podcasts. You know that person who seems to effortlessly achieve their goals while you're still struggling with New Year's resolutions from 3 years ago? Today, we're cracking open the science of discipline, not just why it matters, but how it actually works in your brain and what that means for building habits that stick.
And what's fascinating is that it's not about willpower at all. The latest research shows it's actually about how we design our environment and work with our brain's natural systems.
Wait, so you're saying all those motivational speakers telling us to just try harder are getting it wrong?
Exactly. The science shows that habits are formed in a part of our brain called the basal ganglia. When we repeat behaviors in the same context, neural pathways get strengthened through neuroplasticity.
So it's like creating a mental shortcut?
Precisely. Your brain actually chunks the behavior into a single unit, making it automatic. Think about typing. You don't consciously think about where each key is anymore.
That's wild. So discipline isn't about forcing yourself to do things, it's about creating these automatic patterns?
Right. And this is where most people get tripped up. They rely on motivation, which is like a flame. It burns bright but doesn't last.
I've definitely felt that. Super pumped about a new goal on day one, then by week two.
That's because motivation fluctuates with emotions, physical fatigue, and external factors. But discipline is like cold steel. It doesn't depend on feelings.
You know what's interesting? The military has actually done extensive research on this.
Yes, and their findings are fascinating. They've found that cognitive training significantly improves resilience and performance under pressure.
Tell me more about that research.
Well, a recent study with the National Guard showed that specific cognitive training improved what they call brain fitness, basically, the ability to maintain readiness and recover quickly from challenges.
And this applies to civilians too?
Absolutely. The same principles of building mental strength apply whether you're in combat or trying to stick to a workout routine.
Speaking of routines, let's talk about what successful people actually do day to day.
One consistent finding is that they protect their mornings. But here's what's interesting. They're not all doing perfect 5 a.m. meditation sessions.
Really? That's kind of relieving to hear.
Yeah, even successful CEOs admit to checking their phones first thing sometimes. The key is having a consistent structure, not being perfect.
What other habits do they share?
They don't let their inbox control their day. They plan their schedule the night before, and they prioritize deep work when their brain is sharpest.
But how do they actually stick to these habits? That's the hard part, right?
The key is what psychologists call the habit loop, a cue, routine, and reward. When these three elements align, behaviors become automatic.
Can you give an example?
Sure, let's say you want to read more. The cue might be your morning coffee, the routine is reading one chapter, and the reward is marking your progress in a tracking app.
That makes it sound so manageable.
Exactly. Small, repeatable actions are what create lasting change. It's not about massive overhauls.
You mentioned environment design earlier. How does that play in?
Think of it like this. If you want to eat healthier, don't rely on willpower. Make it easier by not having junk food in the house and keeping cut vegetables at eye level in the fridge.
So you're basically removing friction from good habits and adding friction to bad ones?
Exactly. Research shows that our brain naturally takes the path of least resistance. Use that tendency instead of fighting it.
What about when things get really challenging, like during high stress periods?
This is where the military research is particularly relevant. They found that cognitive training helps people maintain performance even under extreme pressure.
How exactly does that work?
It's about building what they call cognitive resilience, the ability to think clearly and make decisions even when stressed or tired.
And we can develop that through practice?
Absolutely. Just like physical exercise builds stronger muscles, consistent mental challenges build stronger cognitive abilities.
Let's talk about common mistakes. What do people usually get wrong about discipline?
The biggest one is thinking it's about perfection. Real discipline is about consistency, not flawlessness.
That's actually really encouraging.
Right? And here's another misconception. People think successful individuals never struggle with discipline. But they do, they just have better systems in place.
What kind of systems?
Things like scheduling recovery time, protecting their attention like a budget, and creating clear boundaries between work and rest.
That's interesting. Discipline isn't just about doing more, it's also about knowing when to stop.
Exactly. The research shows that rest isn't passive, it's an active part of building resilience and maintaining long-term discipline.
How do successful people handle setbacks? Because everyone faces them, right?
They treat setbacks as data, not failure. If a habit isn't sticking, they don't blame themselves, they analyze and adjust their system.
That's such a different mindset from how most people approach it.
And it's more effective. When you remove emotion and ego from the equation, you can be more objective about what's working and what isn't.
Let's talk about starting points. What's the first step someone should take?
Start with one small habit that aligns with your values. Don't try to overhaul your entire life at once.
And make it really specific, right?
Yes, instead of exercise more, try walk for 10 minutes after breakfast. Make it so specific that there's no room for negotiation.
That reminds me, you mentioned earlier about not negotiating with yourself.
Right. Successful people don't waste energy debating whether to do something. They decide once, then follow through without internal argument.
That sounds both simple and incredibly challenging.
It is at first. But remember, we're working with our brain's natural tendency to automate repeated behaviors.
So it gets easier over time?
Much easier. Those neural pathways we talked about get stronger with each repetition.
What's the biggest takeaway you want people to remember from this conversation?
That discipline isn't about forcing yourself to do hard things. It's about making good choices automatic through smart system design.
And it's not about being perfect?
Exactly. It's about consistent progress, not perfection. Small actions, repeated daily, create lasting change.
This has been incredibly insightful. Any final thoughts?
Remember that discipline is a skill, not a trait. Anyone can develop it with the right approach and understanding.
Well, there you have it, folks. Next time you're tempted to wait for motivation or rely on willpower, remember, it's not about forcing yourself to change. It's about designing systems that make change inevitable.
Thanks for joining us on Copilot Podcasts.